himself getting passed by multiple cars, as I mentioned earlier on, so Nurov in a very precarious situation, but he often finds himself in these places. He doesn't qualify as well as he races.
Up front, they are getting with Lee Aberdeen and Luca Varani, not very far apart at all here. But I just want to see how Alistair Haig deals with Marcello Kessler coming around the old hairpin.
Say it's not the best decision they've ever made, just not having done that under the safety car, really.
Yeah, they're taking their pit stop strategies from Ferrari lately or something. What's going on?
In turn one, just too much gas on them, too much feet on the loud pedal, and unfortunately he's dropped him all the way down the order. But Phillip Hammer is out in front by an 8.91 seconds. Dan Michael is a wall there, sir. And definitely doesn't want to be hitting that earlier on as well.
Difficult, the understeer is in the dirty air through that final corner because it's such a long corner and you get dragged off into the grass very easily. He'll have the slipstream down in towards the chicane. Peterson was briefly alongside, but that slipstream has saved him and kept him in third.
Yeah, Varani now lost a little bit of time to Aberdeen, about half a second. Peterson is Pike's pushed Morton forward up ahead. He's got out of line. Is now Pike going to have a go at Werrell? Don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly. Miller's still such trouble. He's touched on second and change. All of a sudden Miller's back in play.
On to the back end of Phil Jocelyn, so there's been a lot of movers and shakers in this first 2 laps here for race.
Absolutely serious racing league. Everybody's a lot of fun. Yeah, it's all about the entertainment. So I hope everybody is enjoying themselves out there in the chat. We know that Ron is enjoying himself watching. The Burger King machine's off into the grass a little bit there. Is that really bunching up now?
Does he have it?
Medeiros is going to get it.
Oh, they're going to toss it. They haven't got it.
He's on the outside line though, going into the fastest corner on the circuit. Surely this can't work.
Dominic Ligner has got a sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly. Miller's still start trouble. He's up on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Can Barry do it? Big Barry's going to do it. Big Barry! Good evening and welcome to round 2 of the JPB GT4 Championship Season 2. We are at Phillip Island in Australia. 11-turn circuit, 4.41 kilometres. It's very hot today. The drivers have been already moaning at just how hot it is. My response? Well, we are in Australia. So what do you expect? I'm James Parfitt alongside Alex Goldschmidt here this evening as well. We can keep you up to date now with what's happening in the championship standings as they currently are at the moment. So in the AM standings, we have got Chris Barnes out in front with Mike Pearce in second, Torno Urmetz in third, Rob Williams fourth, Ryan Taylor fifth, Danny Weston in sixth, and Stuart Rice in seventh. Christopher Evans in 8th, Stefan Mellis in 9th, Richard White in 10th, Jason Haddington, who is not here this evening. Big shout out and a big happy birthday to Mummy Haddington, because Jason's out with a meal for his mum's birthday. Stuart Gibbons in 12th, Callum Mylan 13th, Damien Hurst 14th, and Rachel Huff, who is here this evening in 15th place. In the team standings, it is Triple P Racing AMG with Barnes and Williams out in front, 125 points. Triple P Racing AMR with Evans and Rice on 97. Team Zilla Racing with Danny Weston on 49. Air Smart Racing with Jason Haddington on 13. And no points for the bottom two currently at the moment. In the pro standings, it is Richard Simnall out in front on 73 with Tim Perry in second with 69. Stin Venman in third on 58 with Jordan Malcolm on 57. Deck Crowber on 51 with Gavin Petty on 50. Mikey Pollard on 49. Teague Ashburn on 45 in 8th. Arnold Chagnon in 9th on 45 with Adam Hedgecock in 10th on 42. Ian Manners in 11th on 38, tied with Chris Needon and Tom Weston in 13th. There is on 10 points in the team standings. AI Race Summaries.com Tracy team with Mike Pollard and Richard Simnall is out in front on 122. Altitude Esports with Hedgecock and Perry on 111. AI Race Summaries.com Jesse team is on, we're in third on 103. That's with Venman and Ashburn. Air Smart Racing in fourth with Sean Yonye and Chris Needham on 83. AI Race Summaries.com Lucy team with Manners and Pierce on 77. Blade Designs with Carver and Gibbons on 58, and Sim Racing Community Tom Weston down there on 10 points. You've listened to me ramble on enough. Let's bring Mr. Alex Goldschmidt into the booth. Alex, good evening again to you, sir.
Good evening, JP. Good evening, everybody, and welcome along to Land Down Under. Yes, I have been so looking forward to tonight. I mean, we're only getting towards the end of a fifth of the championship so far. We've got, including this one, got another 9 races to go, and the calendar is absolutely blinding. But also, you mentioned about the fact that the drivers are complaining that the track temperatures are around 55 degrees Celsius. You know what my response is? You're a racing driver, deal with it. You've got 2 races tonight, folks. We've got qualifying. But then we've also got our traditional sprint race, 15 minutes, grid set by qualifying. Then we got the 45-minute one pit stop race with 50% fuel, and the grid set by race number 1. You know, we had a really good couple of races. We did have a few elbows out, let's say, at Oulton Park. But tonight we'll see what happens. You know, I mean, this particular track itself, and it's, you know, as a racing circuit, has been around for the best part of just over 6.5 decades. Current GT4 lap record in real life is actually set by none other than Sam Brabham, son of David.
Nice. And what did he get?
I think when I was looking, it was around a 136. I'm just going to have a look to the Oracle, as in
Wikipedia.
Well, his race lap record was a 1 minute 39.588. So qualifying, we know, is going to be a lot quicker than that. I mean, we're seeing times from Mike Pollard at the moment. He's leading 135.763. Stain Veenman, 135.9. Same for Richard Simnell, who's leading the way. Overall, Tim Perry, Andy Jones. I mean, it's the Porsches again. That meritocracy of the 718 Cayman GT4 is showing its hand. It's Rear Raccoon, as always, in the chat. Can I also point out, no matter how good their sim rig is, they aren't in the car. Track might be hot and tricky, but at least you aren't in that oven of a car. Well put, because it'd probably be north of about 65, 70 degrees Celsius. You probably have a cool hose attached to the top of the race helmet, cool vest underneath your triple Nomex, and you'd probably be drinking the water bottle to absolute detonation around this particular circuit. But now we get underway with, I think, one of the most interesting things from our side, JP, qualifying.
Yeah, qualifying is going to be interesting. Now, they're all going to be out. Obviously, it's open qualifying, so they're all going to have to go out together. I think the thing is as well, Phillip Island is, how can I put it? It's quite notorious for not always being able to overtake, should we say. It's quite tough here. So for quali, I think the option's got to be really get it out on track. You're going to need to get out on track, or wait till they go round turn one and then you carry on and go out, and I think that's what some of these people are going to need to do, because it is tough, and if you've got somebody behind you on a fast lap, it's not easy. It's not easy at all, and you've got to try and pick and choose to move over. I think it was Stuart Rice who said a little bit earlier on in the chat that although I'm likely to be lapped because, again, another man saying about the heat, the temperature's killing my lap times, I'm going to do it as safely as I can because of the fact that it's not an easy circuit to try and overtake on. And these guys are going to struggle. One run down in turn one side by side, that person on the outside with this temperature as well, that inner car is going to be sliding here, Alex, and he's going to have to be careful because otherwise he's going to end up going off the side of the drifting wide, hitting the person on the outside and drifting off the side of the circuit.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, coming out of the final corner, turn 11, and then you've got the downhill descent into Southern Loop, which is turn 2. And if you're on the outside, I can guarantee this, with 55.5 degrees temperature, we're now going to see it very shortly as our drivers come over across the line, having completed Sector 2, and that's Mike Pollard and, Stin Veenman puts in the first bank lap, 1 minute 41. You can see the elevation drop going through T1 and into this very, very fearsome sweeping left-hand hairpin here at Southern Loop, and you can see just how close that you have to get to that apex. You've got to then let the car drift out wide on the approach into the left-hand kink here at turn 3, and you're really at full throttle. Heading in towards, the next hairpin, which is a very tight right-hander, 180 degrees through Repco. And then you've got another one. So you've got a 180-degree right going through Repco. Then you've got another one to contend with as you line it up, short shoot up to Siberia before you then go through into the top part of the circuit through turn 6, Hagehead, which is turn 7, Lukey Heights, and then MG, which is turn 7, 8, and 9 before turn 10. And MG is going to be the biggest pinch point on the circuit. It's a very, very deceptive tight right-hander, and it nearly comes back on itself. But then you've got to swing the car the other way in order to carry that momentum through turns 10 and 11 to really get the speed coming out of that final corner and down the start-finish straight. And that's crucial here in qualifying, let alone the 2 races that we're going to have tonight.
Yeah, definitely. And I think we've just seen there as well on board with Stin Veenman, who's just gone down through the MG and now running round the outside line. You can see at the moment on the track temperature there, I think it was near on 56 degrees currently. 55 degrees it is now, 6.5 minutes. Obviously they will come down as it goes on. Mikey Pollard goes on the pole, 1:36.229. Benman in second. Perry goes and chops it in there as well. We've also got Richard Simner on a bit of a flying lap here. Now what is he going to do, and where is he going to put himself? He's put himself in fourth. Chris Barnes working out for the Triple P AMG team. He's just about to go over the line and set his first time here once more. And where is Barnsley going to put himself? 9th overall. Not bad at all. But Mike Pierce in the AI Jesse's team doing a great job at the moment for the AMs. He's sitting in 5th overall.
Yeah, Chris, well, looking, Adam Hedgecock has had a couple of off-track excursions already, and we're nearly halfway through the session. And Shannon Yi now goes up to P6 on a 1:37.114. So at the minute, top 9 rounded out by Derek Crowther, covered by just a fraction over a second in the 1:67 Aston Martin. But again, we're seeing Mike Pollard light up the timing sheets purple in the second sector. Stein Veneman is doing that in sector number 1. So Pollard's probably found a little bit of a trick around this circuit here at Phillip Island to really maximise the second sector, because that's where you really have to be on the absolute limit of adhesion. But along with that, you've got to be very precise, because if you aren't precise, you can end up in the barriers, and these barriers, especially on the start-finish straight, are less than forgiving. Yeah,
definitely not there as well. Benman goes on the pole, 1:35.967. It was quite interesting this morning when there was a conversation about the track temps, and somebody was like, look guys, this is just going to be roasting. Can we change them? Now the initial decision was made that they would be dropped down a little bit, and it was the AI race summaries team that come out and said, you know, we've been practicing on the sessions that have been brought up, and we've done hours of practice, and we've been practicing on the temps that it originally was. So we then constructively made the decision just to put it back as it was, because at the end of the day, if people are going out to put the practice in on 50-degree track temps, it's a little bit unfair, I think, to go and change them. And these guys have been out and they've done an absolutely tremendous job. You know, you can see we've got 3 in the top 4, 4 in the top 5 here. So clearly for this AI team, they've clearly gone out and done the work. They've been at it all week. You know, they've been practicing away. They've been doing all the hours. And that's the way kind of this should be done. You know, I think that's the thing, isn't it? You should be out, if you want to be competitive in a league, you should be out practicing as much as you can.
Yeah, you know what, at the end of the day, if you fail to prepare to fail, and that just goes to show how quickly things can work in your favour. Danny West, in the meantime, has had a major, well, he's been off again twice in the last 30 seconds. Chris Barnes has gone into the pit, so has Danny Weston. So we're going to see a replay from the Mystery Machine style liveried Mercedes AMG. Just runs wide. And again, it's about that carry of momentum. But was that out of the final corner, possibly?
I believe he may have... possibly. Where is he at the moment?
No, that's probably at the high part of the circuit coming out of Siberia.
Yeah,
so
I think he's
a little bit.
Yeah, I think actually he might be on the run down to Siberia there, that left-hander. So... but this is the thing, as you say, you know, if you're not going to prepare to fail, and people have to realise, obviously, you know, it's a real-life dynamic sky temperatures as such in Australia. You know, I know most of these guys are the UK and we don't have much sun. I think it comes and goes as much. However, I've got to be honest, last week and a little bit of this week has been hot. You know what I mean? But I think overall they've got to be learning how to deal with track temps. And that's the difficult thing, isn't it, in these cars?
It is, especially if you had the weather report from the Fargo. The lady would be going, it's Scorchio and putting suns all over the blooming map. And that's exactly what we've got here at Phillip Island. And they've just got to grin and bear it. I mean, we're only in the first fifth of the season, for goodness sakes. And, you know, one of the things about winning a championship is consistency, and those that put the hard work in will reap the rewards. They do say you reap what you sow. Tom Weston, Chris Barnes and Danny Weston are all in the pits at the minute. Mike Pollard is half a tenth quicker, than Sinn Weinmann in the battle for pole position. But as this qualifying session has progressed, James, what I have noticed that the times have dropped off a cliff.
I think that's the thing, isn't it? You know, you get to that point where there's no more that you can recover. Obviously, Andy Jones at the moment is coming over the line, purple in 1, green in 2. Unfortunately, in three, he was obviously no faster. He's moved himself up into 6th. But you get a point on the circuit where finding that extra temp and finding that extra thing is a little bit harder for them, you know, because they're probably driving as close to their limits as they can possibly get at the moment.
Yeah, the thing is now in the last 55 seconds of qualifying, drivers might decide, you know what, I've had enough of this session. But there might be that person that might be holding a little 10, 15% back in reserve. And the track temperature is cooling, folks. I mean, okay, it's only just over half a degree. But those little differences, those subtle nuances can make all the difference. And you might have someone that might be saying, right, okay, well, I'm going to go out and I'm going to do 5 pace laps. Let's see what the race pace is like. And then start to unleash that pace. But everyone came out like a Brahma bull in a china shop. And we then got the first few times within, the first 3.5 to 5 minutes. Mike Pollard's in the pits. So he now thinks, well, yeah, Steen Weinmann hasn't got an opportunity to try and get past me on this one. And Steen Weinmann's just done a 36-1 in the final sector. And that concludes Quali. Mike Pollard puts it on pole here at Phillip Island.
It does as well. Obviously, we are going into race 1. I can show you the grid for this race. Mike Pollard out in front in first place on a 1:35.916. Steen Weinmann in second, Richard Simnor in third, and Tim Perry in fourth. Then you got Mike Pierce in fifth, Andy Jones in sixth, Deck Craver seventh, Adam Hedgecock eighth, Arnold Chagnon ninth, Gavin Petty 10th, Tom Weston 11th, and Chris Barnes down in 12th. Then we've got Robert Williams, Torno Uromets 13th and 14th, Stefan Mellis in 15th, Danny Weston 16th, Stuart Rice 17th, and Rachel Hoff in 18th there. So we're going to be up and running. 18 cars currently at the moment ready to go. And it is Mikey Pollard, your pole man. He's going to be the one leading the field. After the pace car goes in, it's all going to be on him. We're only going to have half a lap pace car. And then we're going to be green for this 15-minute sprint race before they then go into the 45-minute feature with a pit stop. Pit stops alone are challenging, Mr. Goldschmidt.
Yeah, especially, but if you get too many off tracks and you get too many incident points, then that sticks you right down at the drive-through walk of shame, or trundle down of shame when it comes to the pit lane. But yeah, pace car pulling away, JP, over to you.
Here we go. Now we are starting just on the back end of Lukey Heights, and then down into MG we will go. These cars here, full mixture: Porsche, Aston Martin, Mercedes and McLaren and BMW here this evening as well. So the pace car is going to be peeling in very, very shortly. You can see the AI race summaries dominating the front row. They've been taking the positions away as well. And now it's all about when Mike Pollard is going to go. Is he going to back everybody up? Is he going to play the waiting game? Or is he going to get on it straight away and he's going to nail the throttle? He's not waiting. He hasn't backed him up. And now we are going to be going. We are underway. It is green. Pollard, Weinmann, Simnar and Perry, your front four at the moment. You can see them all coming down into turn 1 here once more, and they've all done a great job of managing to get through there. And now on that run down into 2. It's always very difficult, but you can see at the moment most of them have made it through here.
Yeah, Andy Jones keeping Tim Perry very, very honest going through turn 1 and then into the southern loop at turn 2. But losing a little bit of straight line speed going through into T3 on the run down to Repco for the first time. But yeah, the top 4 meritocracy on Porsche. So let's see how good that Andy Jones is on the brakes. Seems to be pretty good. The nosedives into the right-hand hairpin, side by side behind. But we've had a little bit of a calamity just behind the Aston Martin, the number 004.
Yeah, Chandonnier and Crowther having a moment where they have just come together. Pierce is on the back of Adam Hedgecock. Hedgecock's up 2 places from where he started as they're coming through the Hayshed up into Lukey Heights, and then they're going to be dropping down into that very tricky MG right-hander. Downhill braking, trying to get the car hooked up as well. Never straightforward, is it, when you're coming down a hill and you're trying to stop a beast like the GT4s here, Alex? It's going to be a challenging night for some of these drivers.
Yeah, MG could be the as I said, the biggest pinch point, but we saw obviously going through into Repco and into Siberia that Chandonnier and Crowther having a bit of a 2 and 8 as we now come across the line to complete lap number 1. Mike Pollard's got a 0.4 of a second advantage ahead of Steen Veenman. Further 10th back to Richard Simnall. Tim Perry in the number 83 Porsche is still running shotgun with them. Top 4 covered by just under 9/10. Andy Jones in the Aston Martin losing a little bit of time as we ride on board with Richard Simnall, the pro class leader. And he's going to be keeping an eye on what Veenman and Pollard are going to do in front of him as they're over through into the left-hander here at turn number 3 on the run down to Repco. 5th gear, accelerating through the apex. Now hard on the brakes. Rotate the car through into 2nd gear, so it's around about 80 miles an hour. Hard on the power. Oh, Mike Pollard getting a little bit wide coming out of Repco. That could give Steen Veenman the opportunity to get on through for that lead of the race, with just coming up to 3 minutes elapsed here, JP.
Yeah, they've already moving on. 12.5 minutes remaining. Off they go up through Lukey Heights. We've got AI race summaries, Jesse, Tracy in the front 3. You can see them there. Simnar is looking up the inside of Vemner and he's just put it on in there, not being able to get through. This is the view from Tim Perry's car behind. He's just looking at all of the action here, but it is a very dominant Porsche-led field at the moment. We've got 6 Porsches in the first 7 cars, and then you've got Adam Hedgecock who's slowly dropping away. He's opening up a little bit of a gap to Pierce. Gavin Petty in the Mercedes there once more. Further down the order, we got Mr. Robert Williams leading a train of Stuart Rice, Stefan Mellis, Arnaud Chandonnier, of course the recovering Arnaud Chandonnier, Rachel Hoff and Derek Crowther at the back there as well in that beautiful blade design delivery. Can Williams hold on to this one? Well, time will tell, and we'll see how he gets on. We've got 11 minutes here, Alex. So far, so good.
Andy Jones, fastest lap of the race so far, 1 minute 36.219. He's closed the gap to Tim Perry to just over a 1/10 of a second. Make that now a 1/10 of a second as this 4-way scrap continues in earnest, with Williams, Rice, Mellis the only driver in the 570 GT4 McLaren, which has now got to his immediate left-hand side. That is going to be Chandonnier, who's got through on him. So Chandonnier, despite having the moment with Derek Crowther earlier on in the race, and he's going for another one. Chandonnier is on an absolute charge, and he's made mincemeat of those in front. That's Stuart Rice he's just got past.
Yeah, he's now chucking down Williams. Of course, Chandonnier is the pros. The guys in front are all AMs. We would expect him to move. Now we're back up front with this 5-car train. Andy Jones just catching up on the back here, Alex. He's going to have a difficult task because these guys in front of him, you know, they're all in Porsches. It seems to be the car of choice. It seems to be the one that's dealing with the heat the most, I think. It's not killing tyres as much. And for these guys, they have only got 15 minutes, so they are able to push. But it is going to be tough for anyone else in any other make of car, it seems, with this very Porsche-dominated field at the moment.
Well, I mean, especially when you look at the drivetrain setup of the Porsche 718 Cayman in comparison with the Aston Martin, which has a twin-turbo V8 underneath its front bonnet, whereas with regards to the Porsches, they're mid-engine, rear-wheel drive. So from that perspective, they've got the better balance around this circuit. You need a combination of both power and of handling. I mean, the Aston's a lovely-sounding GT4, don't get me wrong. But when you have 4 Porsche Cayman 718 GT4s literally line astern, they are still around 9/10 of a second apart from Pollard all the way back to Perry. And I think Andy Jones, when he did that fastest lap, I think he was just trying to say, right, let's see if I can do one push lap and get the fastest lap ahead of those 4 guys in front of me, and he's done exactly that. However, he was the 4th out of 5th. He was the 4th fastest driver out of the top 5 on that last lap when we completed lap number 3. And we're having another nice little battle. It's Mercedes versus Porsche. The Mercedes is swarming all over the back. That's Chris Barnes behind Tom Weston. So number 10 plays number 2, 45, and that's for 10th. That's for 9th place overall. Oh, Stefan Mellis has just dropped the ball. The McLaren has dropped a few positions in the meantime. And this was when he was battling away. That might have been with Stuart Rice. No, he went off on his own.
Yeah, that is Stuart Rice. However, stop. Good job. The grass model did its job, and just there in the background you can see Rob Williams getting run up the inside from Arnold Chagnon as well. So we have Mellis on the grass and Williams being overtaken. Derek Crowther now trying to get past Stefan Mellis as well. Should make it down into turn 1. I think Mellis might run a little bit wide. He has. He still managed to make it come through and still holding on, but Crowther is going to be, there we go, up through turn 2. Looked at coming through here as well. Hedgecock, Mike Pierce trying to get onto the back of Andy Jones. Jones is dropping back a little bit from this pack, and again, you know, we go into that scenario where you're going to have 4 Porsches, 1 Aston and another 2 Porsches. Is the Aston and everything else struggling at the moment with the fact that we're still at, I think it's 55 degrees?
Yeah, we are, but there has been a change for 2nd position. Richard Simnor has made the move on Steen Veyman, who's just been overtaken by Tim Perry. They're side by side. That's coming out of Lukey Heights. Now it's the run down to MG. Perry swipes across the front of Veyman to say to him, right, sunshine, that's 3rd place. Do your best in getting past me through turn 10, and now it's acceleration central here at Phillip Island as they come out of turn 10, now sweep into turn 11. They're going to be pushing over 100 miles an hour in around about 4th, 5th gear coming out of this 11th and final corner. And you know what? Andy Jones isn't as far away as I thought he might be. However, battle for the race lead is that Simnor trying to go around the outside, and Mike Pollard it is! And he's made the move through! Brilliant overtake there by Simnor to take the lead off of Pollard going down into Southern Loop.
Yeah, he literally come around the outside of turn 1, did an absolute amazing job, did Richard Simnor. I don't think Pollard was kind of expecting that, and whether or not he was expecting it, I don't think he thought he was going to make it, because as we know, that turn 1 is notoriously tricky. Yeah, but Venman, unfortunately, he lost a place to Simnor, then he lost a place to Tim Perry, so all at the same time. Unfortunately for Venman, he went down 2. So now he's got to try and do it again. You know, they're coming into Siberia here on lap 5, and he's got to try and realise that, okay, I've got to go again. Coming out now into the short, sharp left-hander of turn 6. Up through Hayshed we go, and then down into Lukey Heights. Dropping down what will be, I think, to be honest with you, one of the toughest the toughest corners on this track. Getting this MG right on a blind apex that you can't see up over the hill is always going to be tough, and he doesn't make it through this time around. Andy Jones keeps up to the back of it. Here we've got Mike Pierce battling away with Alex Hedgecock as they're coming out the run around turn 10 and then down into 11. Hedgecock in that Porsche, Pierce in a Porsche as well. Pierce leading the AMs currently at the moment, and he's leading with Gavin Petty and Tom Weston in the middle of them before they even get to Chris Barnes here. So a great job from all of these drivers, coping with what they've been given, and they're doing a fantastic job at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, Mike Pierce now actually has the fastest lap of the race as we still keep an eye on the number 28 Porsche going through into what will be the Southern Loop here at turn 2. So another bit of adverse camber. You can see that going through turn 1 as well, James, because there's an adverse right-hand camber, but after that downhill shot over the start-finish straight. So this is going to be quite crucial. How Pierce tees Adam Hedgecock up. I have to say that Andy Jones is doing a pretty stellar job. I mean, he's the leading other manufacturer apart from the 4 Porkers at the front. As Tano Oromets loses a position to Danny Weston, who's up from 16th on the grid to P5. Up 5 places to P11. There they are, battling side by side. This is going to be a bit hairy heading into Siberia, but Weston's got the inside line on the number 70 from Estonia. Odomets trying to keep it high, wide and handsome. Has to think discretion's the better part of valor on that one, and Weston keeps a hold of what is 11th place, and he's about 4.3 seconds off of Chris Barnes, who rounds out the overall top 10.
Yeah, Derek Crowber here once more. He's battling away with Williams. He's just swept round the outside of Hayshed to get that inside line for Lukey Heights and down into MG. So a great move from Crowber over Williams. He's trying to make his way back through the field, as is Arnold Chagnonier. Pierce is tucked in now as well. He has got Gavin Petty for company. Pierce is all the way to the left-hand side. Petty in the Merc. Is he going to try and go round the outside? Gavin Petty, is he going to hold it? He's going to have the inside line for 2. He's going to get up the inside as Gavin Petty. And Gavin Petty just done the same move that Richard Simnor did, and it just had the same result as well. The outside line maybe doesn't seem as hairy as we think it is. I actually doubt that. It probably is. But Gavin Petty, Richard Simnar, both of them have made that chance. Now Mike Pierce is trying to come up. He's going to be on the outside for Repco here. That's not going to work. He's going to look for the cutback, trying to get that run. Short, sharp run up into Siberia once more. And Pierce is being squeezed. Petty's giving him just enough room. He's got just... he's hit it round!
Oh, that was inevitable. I think you put the immovable object versus the unstoppable force, and that is a real shame. That was a great battle there between those two drivers, and it just goes to show. Again, it's just about making sure you hit, you cross the T's, dot the I's, as we see at Steen Veinman swarming all over the back bumper of Tim Perry in trying to get back that 3rd place. They're going to be coming through into turn number 11, and Veinman's going to have the tow coming out of the 11th and final corner over the start-finish straight. We now complete lap 8. We have just over 2 minutes to go of this exciting first race here at Phillip Island, located in the state of Victoria in Australia, and Veinman is all over the back bumper of Perry, going through into turn 1, now into the run down through into Southern Loop. Veinman, is he going to try and look up the inside? He sticks his nose up in there, but Perry says, no, you don't, sunshine, you've got to do better than that. But Veinman, 2 wheels on the grass, he's side by side. Is he going to get the cut through? Going into Retco, it's going to be nip or tuck on this one. Perry's going to have the inside line for the next right-hander as they go through turn number 3. But Veinman gets turned around! Veinman gets turned around, and he's taken out the lead now! Simnor's been rear-ended as a result of that contact between the two.
Oh, no! Richard Simnar, the passenger, he didn't even know Veinman was coming. And until the moment of contact, unfortunately, Veinman went off track. And you can see here, there was slight contact with Perry. And then Veinman's just spinning, and Simnar, yeah.
I'm going to say something here, JP. The air will be blue after this race between three particular drivers. Yeah, I mean, the thing was, it's a difficult one to call because Veinman was in front of Perry. Perry thought, well, I've got an opportunity. We're having a look at the replay here. You can see that Perry just drifts over to the left and just bang, slightest touch. It's a 360. Veinman trying to keep it under control, and yeah, bang, straight into the back of Simnor, who's now running in 6th position. Veinman just ahead. I mean, watch
the move from Veinman. There. I don't know how they're going to untangle that one.
That is like, I think we might need Hercule Poirot on that one, James.
I think it's going to be, mate. We are on the final lap of the race now, and it all got shuffled up. Richard Simnor all the way down in 5th place. I think Perry may have given him the place back there, which is great to see. Veinman's up into 4th, so I can probably guarantee there's been some gentlemanly agreements here as well. We can have a look and see just what the makeup was of this pass. Perry's did Perry bin it on his own?
Looks like he might have done it. I mean, that's just the tail end of it, but
I think that's Perry there, isn't it?
Yeah, that was Perry that Yeah.
No, he did. He did. Perry binned it.
Right. Oh, he's got onto the curbing. Loud pedal might be being pressed right about now. Oh, dearie me. And he went into the back. Now, who was that in front of him is the big question.
Mikey Pollard, because Perry was in second, and it is Pollard who's come over and took that victory. Tim Perry comes over the line in 6th. Pierce takes the AM win in 7th there. Barnes is going to come over and take the second place in the AMs. You can see them all strolling through. Torno Oromets is going to grab 3rd there, but I can guarantee there might be a conversation, but I don't want to say it all worked out, Alex, right? Because obviously, you know, with Perry's mistake, he kind of ended up down the order anyway. He was down in 6th. So the guys who were involved with the incident, Simnar and Venman, kind of managed to survive a little bit. A little bit. You know what I mean, a little bit.
Exactly. The first two rounds of the championship, we both know there are going to be a few elbows out, and that was case in point.
Absolutely.
And the sprint race, folks, we all know, as here are the results of what we saw. So Mikey Pollard winning the race itself. But yeah, I mean, if you want to take us through the results, JP, and then I'll go through what I was about to say.
Yeah, it definitely is. Mike Pollard out in first place, takes that win by 1.5 seconds. Andy Jones in second in the Aston Martin. Great job from Andy. Adam Hedgecock in third. Stim Venman in fourth. Richard Simnor in fifth. Tim Perry in sixth. Mike Pierce takes the win in the AMS. Tom Weston in eighth. Chris Barnes in ninth, takes second place. Gavin Petty, Arnold Chagnonier and Deck Crowder recovered. Both of them actually recovered to 11th and 12th. Torno Oromets in 13th, Rob Williams 14th, Stefan Mellis 15th, Danny Rice in 16th, and Stuart Rice is down in 17th. And then we got Rachel Hoff down in 18th place. Yeah, go on. Anyway, carry on.
Right, folks, this is week 2 of 10. When we get to week 6, that is when things like that cannot happen. I mentioned earlier on in the broadcast, consistency wins you a championship. Okay, first of all, Richard Simnor is going to be mighty. Well, I can't use the words on air, but he will be more than mildly miffed. He will be absolutely disconsolate.
Yes.
He'll say to Stain, "What happened?" And then he'll go, "Look at the replay. Tim gave me the slightest of touches. And I got turned around and I did a 360. I hit the brakes and I went into the back of you. Sorry, buddy."
Well, they're all in the same voice chat.
Exactly. So they'll be talking about that right now and try and clear all that red mist that Richard's probably having at the moment.
Yeah, I'd love to pull Richard up, but I don't know if it's
we're not going to do that.
No.
We will never do that on a month of Sundays, even though it is Wednesday night, JP.
Definitely there as well. Dan Lewis, no! He's trying to kill that whole team. Well, he nearly made it, John. I'm not going to lie. He just missed Pollard and he went into, unfortunately, there as well. Unless you're talking about Tim Perry, which you actually might be. Maybe he's just, I don't know, 3-for-1 special or something there as well. It looks like a hot track. It is still quite toasty. We are at 2:30 in the afternoon. It has come down 2 degrees, Alex. It was 55, I think, when we started. It's now only 53.
Yeah, I mean, even as I said earlier on, you know, the slightest differential in air temperature, Kreisel says, "I blame Pierce." Oh, dearie me, do you now?
He wasn't even nowhere near him.
That's... Yeah, exactly. Pierce wasn't even there to be factored
wasn't even
in.
There. No, he wasn't even involved. He was
not on the scene of the crime.
No, we can safely say he's got an alibi, all right, and we can give it to him. He wasn't close, unfortunately.
We as commentators and broadcasters will give Mr. Pierce the benefit of the doubt, because where was he? He was behind them.
Yes.
You know what? The thing was, the most impressive thing was Andy Jones in the 004 Aston Martin. He was keeping pace with them, which shows that maybe in this 45-minute race coming up here, James, I think the Aston Martin might be a little bit of a dark horse. You never know, because we've got that 50% fuel strategy, mandatory pit stop by all competitors. I think Andy Jones could be thinking, you know what, wasn't a bad race. I kept my nose clean, and Tim Perry didn't. So straight away, that's a little bit of a psychological advantage there for Andy Jones, I think. Even though the Porsches have been pretty much dominant, even with what we just saw a few minutes ago.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's the thing, isn't it? You know, that it was a dominant Porsche field. Now, I'd like to touch on Rio there as well. Rio had her best night ever in the BSC NASCAR series yesterday. I think she finished 16th, which was her best result. And now she has come up with, as a pro oval queen, I simply would have not been crashed. Make of that what you will. You know what I mean? So she did have a good night. I'm not going to lie. She did have a stellar night. So, yeah, great job from Ria there as well. Regarding the oval queen part, I'm not entirely sure, but, you know, we'll leave it at that for a minute. Right, grid is up. Yes. Mike Pollard will be on pole with Andy Jones in that Aston Martin in second. Adam Hedgecock got completely, he would even admit he got lucked into third there. Stin Venman recovered to fourth. Richard Simnor in fifth. Tim Perry in sixth. Then we got Mike Pierce leading the AMs with Tom Weston in eighth. Of course, Tom's changed over teams. He's now Performance Link Esports. Chris Barnes in ninth. Gavin Petty 10th. Arnold Chonionier 11th. And Derek Crowber down in 12th. Then you've got Torna Oromets in 13th, Rob Williams 14th, Stefan Mellis 15th, Danny Weston 16th, Stuart Rice 17th, and Richard Hoff in 18th place there. So there we go. We are up and going to be running once more here for the 45-minute feature with a fuel stop. Alex, they're going to have to time that right.
Yeah. And it just depends with taking the amount of effort out of the tyres. Could that be a factor in with these excessively high temperatures, 53 degrees Celsius on the track? But they're coming through turn number 10, and it's over to James to take us through the start. Over to you, buddy.
Yeah, here we go. Now Pollard's at the front of the field. I just picked up on what John Brown meant in YouTube chat there as well. And Alex, if you have a look for yourself, you get what he means. Here now, coming out round turn 10, is Pollard going to back him up? He is not. He is going to go like a banshee already. Straight off the start we go for Mikey Pollard. Pollard's out in front. Jones has managed to hang on. Hedgecock in third there. The boys from AI swaying. Benman and Simnar. Simnar's going to... Oh, I thought he was going to go over Adam Hedgecock there as well. Literally over him. At one point, Benman is down one now. We got Arnold Chonionier. It was like an absolute rocket. At the end of that race is made up 3 places already. So a great job from Arnold Chonionier. Everybody round turn 1 cleanly. Everybody happy. And the only positions that are changed are Richard Simnar to over Venman. Arnold Chonionier up 3. Tom Weston, Gavin Petty down 3 between them. Danny Weston now up 4 places here. Battling side by side with Derek Carver. But a great job for all of them, Alex. We are up, running and underway.
Rachel Howe's also made up a couple of positions from the back end of the grid. She's up to 16th position. Oromets doesn't seem to be having a good time in that BMW M4. He's battling. Well, he's going to have Rachel Howe right on his back bumper very, very shortly as they go through Hayshed and on the run down to Lukey Heights. But yeah, Steen Venman was very, very close indeed. Richard Simnor now is past Adam Hedgecock for second position. And Hedgecock and Venman had a slight exchange. They're carrying that on again. Tim Perry is right behind the number 66 that he had a little bit of a contretemps with in the opening race towards the end of it. Andy Jones has dropped all the way down to 6th position at the minute.
This is why.
So that Aston is side. Oh, right, okay. So
Down
was
into
there a little
Repco.
bit of a... So Hedgecock sends it up the inside. Jones stays a little bit wide. Oh, he loses the back end a little bit. Bit of a tank slapper there for the 004 Aston Martin, but he rightly points it in the correct direction. So not a major amount of time lost, but more to the point, a little bit of pride in a couple of places thereof.
That's the problem, I think, for Andy Jones. He was doing so well. Venman and Hedgecock are going to be they're going at it all the run. Round turn 3 into Repco we go. Hedgecock's got to get over. You've got to get on the white line. I tell you that much, because Venman's going to try and send it round the outside here. Hedgecock has got to defend for his life. He's got to defend so hard. He needs everyone in the back of the car. Stick the family in there, mate. Stick the cats in there. Get him chucking things out at him, because he is going to be under pressure. Tim Perry now, his wingman, needs to be his wingman. They need to be Maverick and Ice in Top Gun. They've got to work together. They've got to go at it. They've got to get Benman out. They did. I don't know if that was Benman running wide. He's on the grass. Perry's gone through. Perry's going to have the outside line, which will be the inside line down into MG here, I think. No, don't team swap now. Oh, no, that didn't go so well.
Yeah, well, Veenman was off at Hayshed on the run down to, well, I think it was Hayshed going down into Lukey Heights. So he lost all that momentum carry. And so Perry and Hedgecock, they were swapped around at the other point. So now, oh, we've got another one off. That was a bit of a code brown there for Mike Pierce. Chanonnier is already scarpered in front of him, so the Frenchman already up now into 7th position. Jones looking on the inside of Hedgecock, going through into T1 on the inside. The Aston is very, very close. Wasn't close enough to be alongside Hedgecock going through into T1 as they head through turn 2 at Southern Loop. But Andy Jones is really saying to Adam Hedgecock, hey, you know what, mate, the Porsche ain't all that. And then side by side between behind, Barnes versus Chanonnier. Chanonnier, I think, has just gotten through. No, Barnes has gotten back through. Chanonnier's in front. Look at the scramble. It's an absolute cluster. Going through into Repco. Barnes is round the outside. Pierce is through. He's nearly hip-checking the Mercedes in the 245. Chanonnier's just up ahead. Again, Barnes and Pierce, this time through Siberia. Pierce runs a little bit wide, nearly 2 wheels on the dusty stuff, and towards his inside goes Robert Williams in the 93, who's already up 2 places. Rachel Howe, in the meantime, was up to as high as 14th. She's dropped down a couple of positions. But wow, I mean, everyone would think this is a 15-minute sprint race. Careful, guys. You got 40 minutes to go and a pit stop.
And that was Barnes and Pierce battling away for the lead in the AMS. So clearly there's been some learning going on here from Barnesy as well. And he's learned that he can actually keep up with these guys. Pearson and Petty having a battle once more as they come on to that start-finish straight. Now for Barnesy himself, he's just got to kind of keep it on here. Petty, I would look at the fact that obviously he's got to be looking at the inside. Tom Weston has got to play Barnes in the right way. It is a pro-and-am battle, but he's got to play him cleanly. He cannot play him like an old dirty fiddle. It ain't gonna work. You know, you've got to play cleanly there as well.
Andy Jones. Andy Jones off track, and he's dropped a couple of places. He's dropped all the way outside of the top 10. So this is going to be, he's going to, that might have been on the outside of Hedgecock, and he's lost it. He's lost it big time.
All on his own, Andy Jones he was doing so well there. Weston did get through over Barnes there, so a great job from Chris Barnes. What's happening with Venman? Well, that's what's happening, and the man behind him is the Attitude Esports of Tim Perry in that Porsche, trying to push the other Porsche. We've got 3 Porsches battling it out. We've got 5 in the top 5 with a Merc of Arnold Chanonnier, who has been showing some great pace, Alex. I'm not going to lie for Arnold Chanonnier. He recovered well. He's up 5 places already, and he's done a great job at it. Before old Venman here, he's going to have to work hard here because the Attitude boys are coming, and they're coming together.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, Chanonnier at the moment has got a real turn of speed. I mean, he just put in a 136.8 on that last lap. Mike Pierce now re-overtakes Gavin Petty for 9th position. Mikey Pollard has set the fastest lap of the race, 1 minute 35.8 on his previous tour. That is blisteringly quick in these GT4 cars. As now Perry closing in on Veenman, going through into T1, sweeping through at about 120 plus miles an hour in 5th or 6th gear on the run down to Southern Loop. Veenman puts it straight on the curbing on the inside of the apex. And is he going to run wide coming out of Southern Loop? The answer on that is a definitive no. And carries the overspeed coming through out of the corner. So carries that momentum through into the left-hand sweeper here at turn 3 before the hard braking zone for Repco, which is going to be taken at 2nd gear. So they're going to be banging down the gears. You've got to be very, very careful with your braking points at this moment, because we are, you know, we're just over 7.25 minutes in, and Mike Pollard has already got a 1.1 second lead over Richard Simnor. This battle here is nearly 5 seconds off of the race leader. Chanonnier is closing in. He was nearly a 1/10.5 quicker than Hedgecock on that previous tour. And I think that Arnaud Chanonnier, despite what happened to him in the sprint race earlier on tonight, if he can keep this pace up, just chip away lap by lap, we've got a little bit of a 2 and 8 here. That's Andy Jones versus Gavin Petty, and they are swapping positions. Petty sends it up the inside through MG. Jones is going to get the cut back through into turn 10. No, he doesn't.
Yeah, that was the second swap these guys have had over the last few seconds here for Gavin Petty. But at the moment, though, it is Chris Barnes from that Triple P Racing Merc hanging on from Mike Pierce. Well, you know how quick Pierce has been. You know how quick he can be here, Alex. He put on a great show in race 1, and now he's finding himself in a right old little battle once more here with Chris Barnes, who for race 2 just seems to have got this car dialed in. He's got where he's got. Petty's going to go up the inside of Pierce. Oh no!
And Andy Jones has gone, thank you very much, boys. That's a buy one, get one free at the Southern Loop supermarket.
Oh, what happened here? Oh, that's a little bit further back. Let's try this a little bit earlier.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't.
I'll be honest. Mike Pierce wasn't really at fault for that, because it just goes to show that when you launch it up the inside of a corner like that, and you are going absolute hell for leather, the first thing that you're going to do, okay, can I make the move? You've got to make that split-second decision. So they're coming out of turn number 11 here. So there's Andy Jones in the background. That's Gavin Petty. And then you've also got Mike Pierce just in front. So they're going to go over the start-finish line, down over this blind crest, now through into turn 1. And this is where the Merc starts lining up.
Yeah.
Turns in a little bit tighter to get the overspeed, then will sweep right now as the Merc in front causes a problem for Pierce.
Yep.
Now, was that Chris Barnes, I think, the 245 that's up ahead. So Chris might have just decided to lift off the throttle or hit the brakes a little bit going through there. So straight away, Mike Pierce is like on Spidey sense watch. And then what he hasn't seen is that Petty's thrown it up the inside and it's accidentally turned him around. So I think it was a bit of a domino effect there.
Yeah, I think Barnes did have to check up, and I think he checked up because the car was running a little bit loose. Then, as you say, Pierce did the same thing, and by that point, Petty was already there. So he had there was kind of almost nowhere to go. But Chanonnier now into 6th place, up 5, chasing down Adam Hedgecock with Tim Perry and Benman just up the road there. You can see Andy Jones battling away down here once more with Chris Barnes. So this is an AM and a Pro. Of course, Chris in the AMs, leading that series at the moment. Rob Williams has had a little bit of touch. He's going to pick up 2nd if he can complete the last 34. And Barnes does let Jones go, and Jones carries on. Stuart Rice now battling out with Mike Pierce further down here for 5th and 6th in class.
Yeah, and I mean, we're just over the 11-minute mark out of 45 completed here, James. And at the minute, I think, you know, we've had, like we had in race 1, we've had a couple of incidents, specifically between Gavin Petty and Mike Pierce, who are now respectively at 12th and 14th on the road, you know, first of all, that's going to be damage to both cars straight away. So the big question will be, will they opt to, depending on how much damage there is to the car, if it's like 10, 15 seconds, they might go, you know what, I'm going to get that repaired. I'm going to get that sorted in the pit lane, where you're, okay, that might cost you a little bit more time than, say, deciding to pit in and have 2 pit stops, because then your strategy's all gone Pete Tong, as we see a nice little move here. Derek Crowther on Stuart Rice into Southern Loop. You know, you will want to have your weapons as sharp as possible. If that means you've got a 10, 12 second repair for damage in the pit lane, right, okay, got to fuel the car, right. Temperature's killing the tyres, let's get a new set on. Get all of that out of the way, and then you'll have a car that's 100% fixed, 100% at its full strength, and then you could just go hell for leather and see what works out, because you'll have nothing to lose and everything to gain.
Yeah, absolutely, completely agree. I want to have a look back and see what happened to Crowther here. Now, he was originally running up. Oh, him and Danny Weston had a
Danny, reverse. Oh, he nearly collected the 2 cars that were coming into shot. Danny, you needed to have held on to the brakes on that one, I think, mate, to be honest with you. That's my personal opinion, because normally if you have an incident like that and you know that there's oncoming traffic, the one thing that normally will be expected of you is to hold the brakes and keep the car stationary. But he was like literally millimeters for the rear end of that Merc being absolutely destroyed. Going through the Southern Loop.
Yeah, he definitely was, and that could have been a little bit more dangerous there for Danny Weston, of course. So we're going to now, coming soon, we're going to give it about 10 minutes and we should start seeing the pit stop cycle. Gavin Petty has just gone past Toro Oromets, and the reason Petty is down now as well is this incident here. The car already sliding, can't get it under control. You got to miss the tyres, Gavin, otherwise you're going to be... No! Okie dokie. Well, there's only one place we can look at that from, and that's this man's view. Toro Oromets here as well. What's you come across right about now?
A sphincter says what is what I'm going to say right about now. It was like Automax is like, race!
Yes! It was almost a Benman in race 1, wasn't it? You know what I mean? You just see Petty coming straight towards him. I guess the newfound grass that's been done here didn't really kind of slow Petty down either. So there we go. It's been a very interesting race so far. We are expecting this to all start getting a little bit closer towards the end of the race. We are kind of nearly in that midway point, and everybody's just getting comfortable where they are at the moment. Hedgecock is slowly being caught by Sean Yonye here, so there's going to have to be a decision made from Mr. Hedgecock. Is he going to try the undercut? Is he going to try the overcut? What do we think is going to be strong here, though, Alex? Because obviously hot track temperature at the moment as well. A lot of things going on in these drivers' heads. Don't get me wrong, we're now down at 51. We were on 55 for the sprint race, but Hedgecock's got that all wrong. Where is Sean Yonye? He's surely got to be looking at coming back past him now. Arnold Chagnon, he's got to sweep around the outside, isn't he? If he can, he didn't make it. Hedgecock managed to hang on there, Alex, but that could have been a dangerous moment.
Now Chagnon pulls the left-hand side, and this is going to be very, very crucial. They're going to be running through turn 6 now into the right-hander here at Hayshed. On the run to Lukey Height, Chagnon has positioned the car absolutely spot on, sweeps through on Hedgecock. That is 6 positions gained by Arnold Chagnon, but now into MG. Chagnon keeps it high, wide and handsome to the outside to carry the momentum through. And that's something that we haven't really seen a lot of. We did see that with Steen Venman a little bit earlier on in race 1 when he was battling away with Tim Perry, and well, all I'm going to say is at least there's 1.4 seconds separating those two in 3rd and 4th. New fastest lap, by the way, 1 minute 35.791 by Richard Simnor, who is within a second of current race leader and race 1 winner tonight, the number 73 Porsche of Mike Pollard.
Yeah, I'm almost willing, Mr. Hedgecock, to get closer here. Because I am sure, unless, don't get me wrong, I wear glasses for a reason. So I am sure at one point that bonnet on that Porsche was jumping up and down. Now, as I say, I don't know if that might be my eyes playing tricks on me here. I'm sure there's movement in that.
There could be. There could be, depending on the iRacing damage model, of course, or it could be just a little bit of a flicker through the FPS. You just never know. But Adam Hedgecock is getting to within 7 tenths. Oh, Sean Onyeda had a little bit of a moment, and that has brought Hedgecock ever closer. 6.5 tenths as we see Stefan Mellis up the inside of Derek Crowther. Oh, Stefan, what on earth was that? And Derek Crowther has dropped all the way down to the back end of the field, and he's ended up in the pits.
I think it's called it a day.
Oh, dearie me. I think Crowther had enough 2 and 8s all the way through race 1 and race 2. But here are our race leaders. Mike Pollard and Richard Simnor. 73 plays 21. Gap now between them, just over 6.5 tenths of a second. Simnor on that last lap did a 1 minute 35.9. Mike Pollard 1 minute 36.2. So the good thing is that Simnor is using Mike Pollard as a little bit, even though, and I did see exactly what Mr. Big Friendly John mentioned, because there's one letter missing at the end of that word. That's all I'm saying on that one, folks. Yeah, it was, the best part of, was just about 3 tenths of a second quicker. And on this particular sector, Mike Pollard is actually a 10th quicker. Going to wait until see what happens when they come through Hayshed, which will break the beam for sector number 3. Last time around, Simnor was quicker by nearly 2 tenths, and it was pretty much even Stevens in the final sector. So they're now going to come through out of Hayshed in towards Lukey Heights. 28.772 for Pollard. Simnor 69 thousandths quicker, so it is marginal at best, and the gap is still stabilising at around about 7.5 tenths of a second between the top two. However, we concentrate on the battle behind, because Steen Veinman has got Tim Perry right up his exhaust pipes at the moment. And then we've also got the battle here with Western. Oh, and that was a bit close there with Adam Hedgecock, who has dropped like a stone, but still keeping with Arnaud Chanonnier. Tim Perry is about 8 seconds up the road from this this menage a trois. That's the first time I've ever said that on a sim racing broadcast, and it probably won't be the last, but it's a good duel between them. There's Perry in 4th. Veenman in 3rd, going through into turn 1 on the run down the hill through into the left-hander here at Southern Loop. And at the moment, Perry doesn't seem to have an answer for Veenman going through into turn 2. And the reason why I say that, Veenman is able to carry the momentum through T1 and just literally nail the curbing on the inside, which is he's completely entitled to do so. Veenman's just trying to keep it on the racing line and keep Perry guessing at this minute.
Yeah, he definitely is. He's just got to try and, for Perry, he's got to stay there as best as he possibly can. They're on their way into Siberia now. Perry is staying tucked up there. Williams was having a nice little battle with Gavin Petty at one point. That was down to barely not a lot of time. Tom Weston is closing up to the back of Adam Hedgecock, so we can check in with the newly hired Tom Weston for the Performance Link esports team. Changed over, of course, from the primary sponsor, which is Sim Racing Community, which is obviously Tom Weston's company that he runs, but he's in the Performance Link esports team now as well. Hired this week, so great job from him at the moment, sitting in 7th place with Hedgecock and Chanonnier not too far in front. Half a second at the moment. We're coming into that pit window now. We are going to be getting there. They're going to start coming in any moment, I would have thought as well. How are they going to play this? Because they're going to come in and they're going to come out amongst the AMs. There isn't much room on the track. If you count back about 4 or 5 corners there's still people there. So they're going to have to try and manage that traffic, Alex, because otherwise they could be stuck on a lap that they need to do quickly because the others have got in front of them.
Yeah, indeed. Mr. BF John has decided to put the starting a business artificial reality simulation equipment. Well, the acronym spells itself. I'm going to add an I in the middle of that. Artificial reality intelligence simulation equipment, aka Arise. There we go.
I like that one. That works.
I like that one better than Mr. Big Friendly John's suggestion there, which would have definitely had us thrown off of the broadcast.
It definitely would have 100%. Done.
Yeah.
And very quickly, Gavin Petty's just battling away with Barnes here. Barnes still in the lead of the AMs. Williams is not too far back behind Barnes. Can Williams get his first win in an AM in a GT4? That would be absolutely amazing, but he's got to track down the team boss of the Triple P Racing AMG. Probably not best to take the boss out. I'm not going to lie, Mr. Williams. So just probably let him win that one. I think as well, just to keep him happy.
Yeah, cardinal rule, never take out your teammate, especially when your teammate is the boss.
Yeah.
Because then you will be, you'll probably be put on the bench if it was ice hockey, like a two minute sin bin for hooking with the stick, or 5 minute sin bin for punching somebody. Tom Weston, Tom Weston has just dived in just past the halfway point. So he's our first one in pit road here at Phillip Island. So that's going to drop him a few places. Again, just like we were saying at Oulton Park here, James, it depends on the fuel consumption. I mean, the track temperature is dropping and it's now sort of stabilising at just over 51.5 degrees centigrade. Tom Weston, pit lane, was in the box for 14.8 seconds. So, as we saw at Oulton Park, the longer you are out on track on the first stint normally dictates. Tauno Oromets just had a bit of a clean-up on aisle 3 off-track moment just then. As I said, you know, if they're able to mitigate the fuel, especially if you're running behind someone, if you're within half a second, take, for instance, the top two. Then you got these two little, you got the top two here, who are within 3.5 tenths of a second of each other. Then you got Veenman and Perry, again, the same sort of distance. So Simnor and Perry, are they going for the undercut by staying behind and not challenging those in front of them? And that's a very shrewd move, because you can see there, Pollard pulls over to the left, so does Simnor. Veenman being followed by Perry, exactly the same tactic. So this could decide first and third, as long as Richard Simnor does not give a little bit of a bump to the back of Mike Pollard through Southern Loop like he did just then. The slightest of touches between teammates. We saw what happened between Perry and Veenman last time, and it was this particular part of the circuit that it happened.
Yeah, it definitely did. These guys have got to try and stay away from each other. Perry in the background is alongside Veenman at the moment, and he's going to try and go around the outside. I'm with you. At this so close moment to the pit stops, I would be using him just to kind of recover and save some fuel in the process. Lift in, coast it in. No need to go past there. Do what Richard Simnor is doing and literally just following Mike Pollard. Pollard, of course, is using more fuel there, Alex. He's got to punch through the air. He's dragging Simnor along, you know, and they're doing a great, and Simnor himself is doing a great job. I think if he's saved enough, I think there could be another lap in the tank for Richard Simnor before he's got to make that move. But they are going to have to start being very careful. With 19 minutes in, normally by about the 15-minute mark, the tank is drained and they've got to go in. So Adam Hedgecock's also has been in as well. 15.6 for the actual stationary time in the box there. But both of these guys and the two behind him in the Porsches are going around once more.
Yeah, I think they're eking it out as long as they can, because we're just about to hit 19 minutes on the timer remaining here in this second race here at Phillip Island. Thank you very much for everyone watching along on the JP Broadcasting Network. Plenty of action to keep you all entertained all the way through the remainder of this week, not just here on Wednesday nights when we're hosting the JPB GT4 Championship Season 2. Of course, next week we head to Road Atlanta, and that's going to be another differing challenge. We've then got Zandvoort, Brands Hatch, Manicure, Suzuka, Road America, Sebring, and on the 8th of November, the what was going to be round 2 last week before we had some issues, will be the Nurburgring Grand Prix. So my second home will be the season finale, so to speak, James.
Yeah, it will, and that was that decision to cancel that one was taken very early, partly because obviously the update for season 4, it was pointed out that the update was going to take longer than normal. So we had to make the decision in the morning before it went down, otherwise the session would have gone live, and that we couldn't have changed it. Now the problem was, obviously, we wasn't going to be aware it was going to go back up, and it did go back up, but then it come down not very long after iRacing made a rightfully costly mistake, should we say, and anybody who did get in fast enough would have noticed that the memberships for a year were listed at $7.99 on their website, which, as I don't know if you know, generally it's a lot more than that. So there was a couple of people who got, I believe they got 2 years plus a discount for less than $12. Now, obviously, at that point, iRacing realised and it came back down again. So it was made early, partly because we just didn't want to leave it. And then if we made it early, people are able to plan their days, Alex. Do you know what I mean? And not if we'd have pulled it out like an hour before.
Yeah, we've had another pit stop in the meantime. Adam Hedgecock was in the pits. Robert Williams, Danny Weston, Tano Oromet, Stuart Rice, all now in pit lane. Adam Hedgecock was in the pits on lap number 15, spending 15.68 seconds in his pit box. Rachel Howard's just had a bit of an off track. I also saw one just a few moments ago from somebody else. Didn't quite remember the name of it. Robert Williams in the pit box in the number 93 Mercedes, 16.17 seconds.
He's jumped the boss. He's jumped the boss. The boss is behind him.
Oh, dearie me.
No! There was team orders there. He was not full pace coming out of that pit.
No, he was not. He was like, okay, Bossman's probably been like, right, okay, just watch yourself.
Yeah.
Bossman's coming through.
Your time's over.
However, this is still going on. We're now on to lap number 18 with 29 minutes to lap, 16 to go. We're on to lap number 19. Wienman in the pits now. Chanonnier has moved up effectively from 11th to 4th. Gain of 7 positions for the number 142, the highest place of the Mercedes. So Wienman is out of the pit box after nearly 16 seconds. So has a little bit of a trundle down pit lane. Let's see if he's up to full racing speed coming out. Yes, he is. And who is that alongside? And that's going to be Mike Pierce. Yeah, Pierce, he gets through. And is about 10.2 seconds behind Petty. So at the moment, Pollard, Simnor, Perry, Chanonnier, Jones, Petty, Pierce, yet to pit. Stefan Melis, who's had 4 off tracks so far in this race, is still out there in the number 54 McLaren. Currently running in 11th place. Oh, did we just... I think I just saw a little bit of an off track on the live timing. Might have been Chanonnier. But Pollard and Simnor, are they going to pit at the same time? That's the big question here, because that could give the opportunity for Tim Perry to go a little bit later. Yes, they do. It's tandem formation by those drivers, and there's Tim Perry. What's the number 83 going to do? Is he going to dive into pit lane? No, he does not.
No, he went round. As soon as he started going around the final corner, he went round. Now, it's all going to be about Venman here. Now, Venman's a long way back at the moment. Pollard and Simnar, they're just about stopped. Venman is here in 7th place. Andy Jones hasn't pitted yet as well. We're still waiting. They're going to be in the pit box for about another 2, maybe 1 second. They're on their way out.
Oh, Simnor has just jumped Mike Pollard in the pits. Simnor's out before Pollard. Pollard was in the pits for 17.2 seconds. Simnor 14.8, so he's done the big old overcut on the man that was in front of him.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Petty's in the pit, Chanonnier's in the pits, Chanonnier is about to come out of the pits. 16.7 seconds. Mike Pierce is in, just has hit the stop marks in the pit lane. Gavin Petty, 17.95 seconds in the box. Mellis is now finally pitted. So we've still got Tim Perry leading the way, 16.2 seconds ahead of the 004 Aston Martin of Andy Jones. And JP, we're coming up to 13 minutes to go. Perry and Jones, I think, might be in on this next lap.
Yeah, Pierce is on his way out. This is the battle for the lead of the AMs. There's Pierce. I got a funny feeling, unless Williams is going to send it on him, Williams has jumped the boss. He passed the boss there as well, Mr. Rob Williams. Oh, boss man, run wide. Fair dues, don't wait for him to come back, go for it. That's what I say.
Yeah.
And Williams could be on, if he can hold Piercy back here, he could be on for his first win in the AMS ever. Ever.
Well, as you say that, Perry is now on his stop marks and has been in the pit box for just over 8 seconds. Andy Jones has pitted on exactly the same lap, so our two leaders are in. And Simnor, when he left the pit lane, had a big old jump on Mikey Pollard for the race lead. So that just goes to show the gap is about 2 seconds between them. Make that 2.3. So now, with all the pit stops completed, that has really given an opportunity for Richard Simnor to stride away into the distance. And he's got that gap up to about 2.5 seconds.
Williams is off. On the run down at MG, and all that work he has done has gone out the window. If you're ever going to make a mistake, probably best not to do it on your own when you're leading the AM Championship. As you can see, I think he's going to run a little bit wide here. He has.
Oh, Joker lap.
Yeah. Didn't make it, unfortunately, for Williams there as well. I don't think there was any contact there, unfortunately. So, yeah, for him, unfortunately, not good. Arnold Chanonnier and Adam Hedgecock back with Tom Weston once more. These three guys going at it, and I think they're going to be at it for the next 11 minutes here of race 2 of the GT4s. Going to be an epic ending here, but I've got a funny feeling now Simnor has kind of probably got this one wrapped up.
Yeah, I mean, the previous laps, Pollard was 0.2 of a second slower than Simnor, but Simnor was in the pits for 2.5 seconds less than Mike Pollard. So it does, Mr. BF John has just said, the grass seems to have more grip than the track now. Well, do we see any tail-happy cars going onto the grass? Normally when they enter onto the grass, yes, but they seem to sort of gather it up a little bit. But yeah, this battle here between Hedgecock, Chanonnier and Weston, it's the Mercedes meet in a Stuttgart sandwich at the moment. So Chanonnier is the highest place of any other manufacturer apart from Andy Jones, who is lurking in the distance. Yep. And the temperature now, folks, has dropped significantly. It's dropped to under 49 degrees Celsius for the first time here tonight at Phillip Island, and you can see how hard Arnold Chanonnier is working behind the wheel, closing in on Adam Hedgecock. The gap between them is 2.5 of a second. They're now on the run through the left-hand sweep here at turn 3. A little bit more curb taken by Chanonnier, who tried to stick his nose toward the inside of Repco on Hedgecock, but was not close enough to facilitate the move. Out of the corner, run it a little bit wide. Jones is now within earshot. He's got Tom Weston within the crosshairs. Let's just hope he hasn't got any James Bond gadgets on that Aston Martin GT4 Vantage.
Oh, that would be cool.
Right on board with him.
That would be cool, though. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely.
But Andy Jones has got a prime seat here just to sit and watch and wait. And Chanonnier nearly did the hard work for him there, spitting up a bunch of gravel down into the MG we go. And for Andy Jones, it's all about sitting and waiting. Sitting and waiting. I don't know if I would be pushing this at the moment, Alex. I'm not going to lie. I don't think I would be. He goes past, I believe that might be Rachel Howell there. I don't think for Andy Jones at this moment in time, with 8.5 minutes, with how close these guys are in front, I wouldn't be pushing this. I would sit there and wait and get down to about maybe 3 minutes to get a couple of laps in, and then go and try and go at them, because I've got a funny feeling this battle ain't over and something's going to spice up here. Something is going to happen and somebody somewhere is going to make a mistake.
I think with these colder temperatures as well, even though it's minimal in terms of degrees that have dropped over the course of the race, Jones's car seems to have come a bit more alive, and now Tom Weston is thinking, oh my God, why is he behind me? He was about a second back. So now we got Chanonnier towards the outside of Hedgecock. This is going through into Repco. Jones sends it up the inside. Is he going to make the move stick? He does. Chanonnier runs wide and he pulls into the path of Andy Jones as they go through into Siberia. But Andy Jones knew exactly what he was doing right there. He managed to just literally keep on the back bumper of Tom Weston. And now Chanonnier has got a rear view mirror and side mirrors filled with a dark black Aston Martin into the right here at Lukey Heights. Jones is going to try and force the move into the run down to into MG. The Aston's to the outside, the Mercs to the inside. Jones, is he going to make it through? Oh, it isn't! He isn't! Oh, good effort though, Andy Jones, but I'm not too sure. Was there a little bit of a touch when Chanonnier decided to turn in?
Yes. Yes, there was. And me saying Andy Jones can sit and wait, unfortunately, if you watch the inside front of Chanonnier, just about, oh, maybe not. Maybe not.
Might have been a little bit too much steering angle from Andy Jones trying to cover off Arnaud Chanonnier. I mean, as he turns in, no real... Well, the thing is, there could possibly have been a little bit of netcode there. You just don't know. But we look on board. So he's right with Chanonnier. There's Chanonnier we're on board with at the moment. Jones peels to the outside. He's over. He's about half a car length.
Never touched him.
Never touched him.
Nope. That was a lone Jones spin.
Yeah, I think he just over. I think he might have been a little bit too heavy in terms of angle steer in front of Chanonnier, and sometimes you can have that kind of problem. Now we've got Danny Weston battling away through in towards the southern loop on Tano Oromets from Estonia, the lone propeller representative here tonight for the brand from Munich. But yeah, I mean, and you know what, Andy Jones, I think has really been. I did say it might be a little bit of a dark horse. If he'd made that move on Chanonnier and made it stick, I think we would have both been shouting our respective roofs off the bloody buildings, to be honest with you, James.
I agree. And I think it was just a little bit overzealous trying to get on that throttle and not being able to get it fully rotated, and it just shot the back end round, unfortunately for him. You know, it's a tough run because he was doing so well. He's, you know, now I think it's like 6.5 seconds back from Tom Weston, or 3.9 seconds back, sorry, from Weston. So he's from Tom Weston. Of course, we're on board with Danny, his brother. So, you know, for Jones, it's got to be a bit of pill to swallow because he was doing so well. And that is the point of it at the moment. You can sit back and enjoy the fact that he was there. He was doing really well. Williams has got past the boss of Chris Barnes once more. So he is out in front. There's Pierce just going round turn one here. So for Williams, he's got to, don't get me wrong, he's got 16 seconds here. That would be a great gain if he does manage to make it. But there's nothing saying that the iRacing Summaries Jesse team of Mike Pierce here, as we've seen so far with people making mistakes, Alex. Not that I'm wishing a mistake on him, but mistakes can happen. Do you know what I mean?
Interestingly enough, even though we've got, 4.5 minutes remaining on the timer, Mike Pollard has closed that gap. It's now down to 1.35. So Richard Simnor might not be in as clear as we thought, because it was 2.3 seconds after the pit stop phase when he jumped Mike Pollard in the pits. Pollard has been closing him down. The last tour around, he was slower by just under a tenth, but the previous lap, he was quicker by about a tenth and a half. So I'm going to be keeping a keen eye on the sector times between Pollard and Simnor, and they'll be breaking the first one now as they exit out of turn number 3. 31.193 from Simnor. Pollard, 1/10 quicker. Now, this is where it's going to get interesting, folks, because that gap is down to just over 1.2 seconds. Make that under 1.2 seconds. They're going to break the next timing beam on the run through into the midpoint of Lukey Heights. Now, Mike Pollard was slower through the second sector. Simnor was quicker by 1/10. Then Pollard managed to gather all that lap time back in the final sector. He was over 2.5 tenths quicker in sector number 3. That's where Pollard seems to really gather momentum and pace, especially in the more technical part of the circuit. So 28.736 for Simnor. They're going to be.
It was quicker.
I think. Yeah.
Pollard was quicker than Simnor as well in sector 2. So great job for him at the moment. He isn't going to. Yeah, it's going to be too late.
It's 8 tenths. It's closing. It's closing significantly. So Pollard, what's the gap between him? 35.989 for Pollard. Simnor 36.339. Folks, that's 3.5 tenths of a second that Mike Pollard has just taken out of Richard Simnor on lap 26. Now, the temperature again has slightly dipped. It's just over 49.4 degrees Celsius on the track. But Mike Pollard, in this latter couple of minutes of the race, I mean, he's only got just over 2 minutes to go. We'll have 2 laps to go, including this one. And Mike Pollard has got to throw everything at it. The last time around, he put in the fastest lap of the race, 1 minute 35.731. Simnor's lap time last time around, 1 minute 36.268. Pollard was half a second quicker.
Yeah, Pollard's closing in as we're going to be venturing on to the last lap. He's faster again. He's pulled it back to half a second. Mike Pollard is going after Richard Simnor here, Alex, and he's closing in again. Another 2 attempts taken out on sector 2. It's going to be very, very interesting. Don't go anywhere as we're going to be starting the last lap very, very shortly here, Alex. Who's your money on?
Pollard, because he's just taken another 2 tenths out of sector 2 out of Simnor. The gap now, folks, is coming up to 6 tenths of a second. This, folks, is now going to be lap number 28 with just over 1 minute and 10 on the timer as they come out of turn number 11 for what's going to be the penultimate time. Gap now 0.57, and Simnor on that particular occasion was slightly quicker in sector 3 by about 0.08 of a second, but Pollard's got that gap down to less than half a second, maybe round about half a second. They're going through into the southern loop for what's going to be the final time. The interesting thing is, how much time does Pollard gather in sectors 1 and 2? And is it going to be a fact that if he has a sniff, I think Mike Pollard might do one or two things. It's a 50-50. He'll either think discretion is the better part of valor, or he's going to send it. Now, the way things are happening at the minute, as they come through out of Repco, looking at the first sector, Mike Pollard 30.969, Simnor 31.141. That gap is stabilising now. I think they might have decided, because their teammates effectively, they're under the same stable at AI Racing Summaries. But it's all dependent. They were nearly the same as... Oh, Tom Weston's had a big old moment on the last lap of the race. But look how close they are at the race lead, because we've only got a couple of corners. The final lap about to be completed. The checker's going to be out, and it looks like Simnor's going to take the win.
There he is. Looks like Richard Simnor is going to wrap this up. He is going to hold on there once more. He's going to come over for the victory in race 2. Great job for Richard there. What's happening with Andy Jones and Arnold Chagnon? Oh, this is going to be a rundown. This is going to be a rundown to the line, mate. Isn't it? This is going to be Andy Jones just trying to full boon that Aston Martin. He wants to get hold of that Merc. Is he going to be able to get him on the run down to the line? The line is quite fast down. He might have the opportunity. Is he going to be able to do it? He's not going to be able to do it. I think Chagnon is going to get it. It comes over the line there for the 7th place overall.
9/100ths of a second separating those two. because literally Jones pulled to the left-hand side right at the death. But Chanonnier just was like, right, I'm parking this car. I'm making its backside as wide as humanly possible. Andy Jones, you ain't got a hope in hell. Now we're going to see Mike Pierce come across the line in front of Robert Williams. That's 10th and 11th decided. Rachel Howard's already crossed the line. Here's Chris Barnes. He's going to take the 12th ahead of Danny Weston, who we are just waiting to come around the final corner. There he is. Along with him will be Tano Oromets in the number 70 BMW. Stuart Rice and Stefan Mellis. Oh, someone's been doing the old Bathurst style jump here at Phillip Island.
I think that was Chris Barnes.
Daisy.
Not too sure if he made that one.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, yeah, just wait for it and yeet.
Yeah. It's not quite as predominant as the Bathurst one, though, is it? Let's be real.
No. Like literally straight line in the chase and just going over the ramp.
Yeah.
And I've seen it the amount of times on iRacing where people have just done it for memes and giggles. But what a great couple of races. Mike Pollard winning race 1, Richard Simnor winning race 2. I can't wait until we go to the US for Road Atlanta next week, buddy.
Yeah, it's going to be absolutely amazing. But here are the results. Richard Simnor from the AIRacingSummaries.com team/Tracy. Mike Pollard in the same team in second, Tim Perry third, Stim Benman in fourth, Adam Hedgecock fifth, Arnold Chanonnier in sixth, Andy Jones seventh, Tom Weston eighth, and Gavin Petty in ninth. Then we've got the AMs. It's Mike Pierce takes the victory with Rob Williams, highest position for Mr. Williams. So I might see if I can grab hold of him for a chat. Danny Weston in third. What happened to Barnes? Barnesy was in third. I'll have to find out on that one. Danny Weston got third then. Torno Oromets got in 13th, fourth over in class. Stuart Rice 14th, Stephen Mellis 15th, Richard Howe 16th, Chris Barnes down in 17th place, and then Derek Crowber rounds out the 18. Now I'm going to go and move somebody as well. So I'm going to put him in there. And I'm going to put you in there because I want to chat with you as well. So there we go. Oh, where did they go? All the way up there. No, wrong booth. Come back. Right. So let's have a chat with the pro winner overall, Mr. Richard Simnor. Richard, welcome in, dear sir. How are you?
Oh yeah, I'm right. I was kind of mid-sentence congratulating Mike just then, but yeah, that was a very interesting one. A very stressful evening, I think, for me.
Stressful evening? Why is that?
Do you know, it's since they've changed all the sort of grass and the physics on the grass. I thought, okay, there won't be any of these sort of shenanigans you get at Phillip Island where people hit the grass and they come torpedoing in. And then I saw Stein helicoptering on the grass, and I thought, okay, I try and stop as quickly as I can, or I go. So I hit the brakes really hard, thinking he would fly in front of me, and he didn't. He hit my rear, and at that point I realised I should have kept my foot in. But it's unlucky. It's unlucky. I had some great pace at the start of that race. I don't know why I managed to get to the front, because in practice Stein and Mikey have been so damn quick. It's been hard to keep up with them. I think I just got lucky with them making a sort of slight mistakes. I got the run and they let me through. Built up a nice little lead in that little sprint race, and then yeah, yeah, that was gone. So in the feature, I don't know. I just sort of, I think I put the sort of bit between my teeth, and I think I got up to second in the first lap, which, you know, was all risk and all reward. So yeah, sometimes you just got to go for it, and yeah, it was a bit scary. It's not my typical racing style. I'll be honest.
Yeah, but you jumped him in the pits.
Yeah, we were talking about it before the pits. We were coming up to that traffic because I was going to do an extra lap. He knew I'd been saving fuel behind, and yeah, Mike and I, we discussed it, and we were like, well, we both got to come in this lap because we were literally right behind 3 back markers.
Mm-hmm.
And I just got this magical launch out in my pit box. I think I must have just reacted really well. Got up to speed, and Mike was still standing still. We were both sort of trying to figure out how that happened, because in my calculations, I think I probably should have come out sort of side by side. I think he put a bit more fuel in anyway, regardless of like fuel saving. I think he put a couple more liters in. I think that made all the difference. So yeah, I mean, I feel sorry for Mikey really, because he's drove his heart out all week. He's put in some really good times, and he won the sprint race. So it just goes to show that you've got to be at the front to win races. And unfortunately, if you get taken out, yeah, you're not going to win them. But
so you didn't want to let him through then?
No.
Well, I'm picking up on the fact that you said, poor Mikey, he's had a great week, he's done loads of lap times.
No,
I was thinking
we're still of the mind that we will be safe, but we're not going to just like weave out in front of each other, but we are going to race. And I think, I think if he'd have caught me, he probably would have tried to go down the inside into probably the hairpin at the end. I think that was probably his only opportunity. But he'd put in like 3 fastest laps near the end of the race, and I was sort of really sweating. I needed to nail all my braking points, which thankfully I did. I wasn't the case in practice. I did make a few mistakes at T2 in practice, which would have definitely lost me the race. But I don't know, what can I say? It's just exhausting 45 minutes really. And congrats to the guys, and congrats to Mike Pierce. He got his AM wins. So yeah, it's good day for the team.
Well, there you go, Richard. Thanks so much for joining me. I don't need to ask if you're going to give a shout out. You've just kind of done it there as well. Onwards we go next week, young sir, and I can't wait to hopefully have a chat with you next week.
Yeah, cheers.
Take care. Right, now I'm going to go. I want to speak to Chris Barnes, because I want to find out why there was no 3rd place there, Chris, when you, I believe, come over behind Rob Williams.
Yeah, I did, mate. And then I went off track and the car just carried on sliding, and I ended up going the wrong way and getting a hold for something. It gave me a penalty anyway, so it's dropped me to 17th.
Now, that hasn't got anything to do with you taking a jump at Phillip Island at all, was it?
No, not at all, mate. I was trying to take Rob out, to be honest, and I succeeded with that, but then just continued to go across the grass and end up going the wrong way down the track. And before I could stop the car, it gave me a penalty.
Oh, now obviously, Bardsy, for you managed to get ahead of Williams there as well. Now, coming out of the pits. Now, me and Alex did say it did look like that Rob kind of almost let you go. Are we looking at team orders? Because, you are the boss man.
No, I'm not. Evans is the boss man, but there was no team orders, but I was coming up on him quick, and I think he gentlemanly left the door open for me to go through. We both knew he was quicker than me tonight, so it was like he wasn't fussed if I went past him. And then I ended up, I think 2 or 3 laps after that, I was holding him up. So I thought I'll let him go, see if we can catch Pierce. And then looked down and I was like, no, he's about 6 seconds ahead of us already. We don't stand a chance. So me and Rob just had a good drive to the finish.
Yeah, you definitely did there, Bud, as well. Thank you so much for joining us there, Chris. Anyone you want to give a shout out to before I let you go?
Just everyone from Triple P, Blades Designs, you guys for doing a great job. And yeah, let's keep it going.
Awesome stuff, mate. Well, look forward to speaking to you as the season goes on, hopefully, buddy.
Yes, mate. Take care.
Take care. Now, we will have a chat with the man that finished in 2nd place. His first ever podium, unless I'm mistaken, across the whole of Season 1 and Season 2, I believe. Let's welcome in Mr. Robert Williams, who did gentlemanly leave the door open, coming out the pits for Chris Barnes. Rob, how are you?
Good, thank you.
So come on then. What was the pit exit all about?
What do you mean? I was just sticking to my line.
Yeah. Well, I don't believe that for 1 second, to be honest, Mr. Williams. I've got to be honest, because Barney's already told us that you gentlemanly left the door open for him. But you did manage to get in second place. Now, I believe there was also a moment going down into MG there where you were leading the AMs on for your first win. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah. I mean, we knew that Mike was going to be fast tonight, for sure. He's been fast ever since the season started. That is why Barnes took the lead originally. I was going to follow Barnes around. For some other reason, he lost pace, which obviously then let me through. But there was no way I was going to catch up or stay with Mike with his pace. So.
Okay, and the incident where you ended up on the grass?
It happens.
Yes, but you were leading the AMs in front of Mike Pierce there.
Yeah, overcompensating and perhaps even driving in my mirrors, maybe. Partially. Knowing how fast Mike is and not wanting to be the one that cut him up or ruined his race because of, a dodgy turn-in sort of thing.
Yeah, but do you think you could have do you think if you defended, you could have held him back?
Yeah, but James, I mean, you know me as well as the team do that I'm not an overly defensive driver. I don't want to come across as being that guy that makes the dodgy move into a corner. So I'd rather just leave the door semi-open and let them, if they decide to put their nose in, then they can have it.
Okay, well, congratulations on your second place there, Mr. Williams. Anyone you want to shout out before I let you go?
You guys for doing a great job, and obviously the Triple P team for being there.
Awesome stuff. Thank you very much, Mr. Robert Williams, and we'll chat to you as the season goes on.
Cheers, mate.
Take care. Right, now we're going to have a chat with the AM Victor, the man who did a great job in race 1, went and took the victory in race 2 in the AM category as well, Mr. Mike Pierce. 2 wins out of 2 for you, Mr. Pierce. You got to be happy with that one.
I'm ecstatic. There was a moment it didn't look like it was going to happen. But yeah, I'm over the moon. I didn't really expect it, and then halfway through, I was thinking, "Oh, maybe this is on. Maybe it's happening."
Yeah, and it did.
I really enjoyed that.
It did happen.
It did, yeah.
2 out of 2.
Yes. It's strange.
Why?
Because I wasn't expecting it. I wasn't expecting to be that quick here this week. When your teammates are Simnor and Pollard and Stein, yeah, you're always like, I'm always a bit slower than them, and you're always trying to get that extra time. But I guess it pays off, right? It's you always feel a little bit down, but then when it comes to the race, it's there. So,
are you though realistically forgetting obviously the pro and am situation, because obviously you are down in the AMs here as well? And I know you've got a great team with Simnar, Pollard, as you say, and Stein with you, helping you, and you gain pace, and you've shown that in race 1. Do you feel though that you might have been and put a bit too much on yourself when realistically you're round that 10th place mark with the rest of the AMs, or do you feel you could be a little bit further up?
I think I can be a little bit further up. I think it's quite. I can have the pace, but I need to find some of the racecraft a bit. I got a bit bullied at some of the sections, so we say, and maybe I was a bit naive and letting people pass me and letting them through or not going through myself. So I think I lost some positions from a bit of naivety, and I should have defended them better. So I maybe need some tricks and some lessons there. But on pace alone, I think maybe I can do well.
Yeah, I think you can as well, Mike, to be honest. I think you're in with a great chance. So on taking this AM Championship, to be honest, you have got a bit of a tough run with the likes of Williams, Barnes and everybody else behind you there as well. So good job from you tonight, mate. Anyone you want to shout out before I let you
go? Just a few friends and family, really. I've got a few friends and family watching. So hello to them. Thanks for watching. And they're just the team, really, for pushing me and helping me out find the lap time here. So
is a young gentleman by the name, I presume, I'm sorry, I've just pulled a massive presumption there. We've got a gentleman called Krytor in YouTube chat. Now, at the moment, I think he was talking about Stein's incident in race 1 with, obviously, which resulted in Mr. Simnor going out, unfortunately. He blamed you
Oh, you blame me.
Yeah. So I don't know if you know who that is, but whoever it is basically said, I blame Pierce.
I do know it. I do know him. We're actually going on a trip to Belgium on Friday, so maybe I'll just leave him here.
Maybe. Good job, I think, as well. I would, considering you weren't even on the scene there, Mike, as well. But stellar job for you. 2 wins. Look forward to chatting to you as the season goes on, buddy.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
Take care. Well, there you go, Alex. Another end to a very interesting evening of racing as well. And I just want to get something. I just want to show you what's coming up soon on the JPB YouTube channel. So there you go, guys. If you want to get yourselves in some TCR action, they are heading out on tour. It is a tour of America, as the video there stated to you as well. The TCRs are going on tour. We're coming away from the British Championship. We're going in an all-American championship. So get yourselves involved. Sign-ups will open up very soon. So if you want to get yourselves involved, come and join the Discord, which is below, and you can come and do some TCR action. So, Alex, there you go, bud. Another round down and more to come.
Yes, indeed. And you know what? Road Atlanta next week. I am seriously looking forward to it. Folks, don't forget, we are on social media, so don't forget to like, share, and subscribe here on our official YouTube channel. There's plenty still to come up this week. Of course, we've still got... I mean, you know what? When you started playing that promo, my heart started to flutter. I'm a bit of a fan of TCR, having been part of the TCR UK broadcast earlier on this year at Croft. So, folks, what have we got coming up? We've got Radical Race Series Season 4, Round 1. Is it tomorrow? Yeah, tomorrow night, Donington Park. We've got the JPB, not JCB, what am I talking about? That's nearly a sponsor of Williams, isn't it? JPB TCR Championship, Round 6 live from Silverstone International. The IFL W13 Series live from the Red Bull Ring, Round 7 on the 16th, along with SR4S Formula 3 Championship Season 2, Round 7, live from Watkins Glen. We've then also got the IFL F3 Series, Round 7 live from the Red Bull Ring on the 17th. And then, of course, one of our favourites here on JPB, especially when we get behind the commentary microphones, JP, the IGP Fun Formula 3 Season 4, Round 1, live from the Ardennes Forest at Spa-Francorchamps. But you know what, mate? Round 3, Season 2, JPB GT4 Championship at Road Atlanta next week. Can't wait.
Yeah, it's good.
The first two rounds of what we've had so far in this championship, as they say, rock on, Tommy.
Yep, absolutely. I fully agree with you. I think it's going to be an interesting one next week as well. But for now, guys, that's going to wrap it up from myself and Alex Goldschmidt. I've been James Parfitt up here in the booth with Alex. So for now, you all take care. Have a great week. And you never know, we might see you on the track sometime. Good night.